6 DC superhero films per year, and Disney is releasing a lot of Marvel. Is this too much? Let's get into it. It's Morningstar News. So it looks like DC Films is kind of backing away from their plan for 2021 to simultaneously release movies both in theaters and on HBO Max. But with the success of Wonder Woman, HBO Max is still, heavily factored into things. I guess they're talking about 2022 now, but their plan is to release 4 movies in theaters and 2 movies on HBO Max per year. So, right, 6 feature-length films per year in the DCEU slash DC Films. They're not really calling it a universe now. So what they're doing is they're having these independent films that are kind of related, but they're not part of a full story arc, Marvel has done. So they also have some plans for TV series spin-offs as well, and they just have a lot coming down. And it seems like, what they're saying is this is trying to catch up to Marvel, which I feel like is just a bad strategy to even say something like that, Like, you need to be able to stand on your own. Don't make this a competition. Obviously it's a competition, right? Because Marvel, DC. But yeah, you got to be careful trying to just pump these things out just to pump them out. I get it's an online strategy, and streaming is where it's at, and who knows what the future of theaters is gonna be. But you got to be careful. So right, what they're calling it is the multiverse strategy, which is kind of interesting because Marvel is about to do the whole multiverse thing starting in 2021. But anyway, so the multiverse strategy is what DC is saying will allow them to have all these different shows that aren't necessarily connected, that aren't necessarily contributing to this whole story arc. So you have the different continuities, and not necessarily this happened, but it's not necessarily canon to the main storyline that's going on in the big movies or whatever. So that's their their plan for that. With regards to the HBO Max series, the 4 main movies going to theaters per year, those are going to be the most expensive. The most expensive movies are going to be released in theaters, meaning, the HBO Max, there's not going to be as big a budget for those movies. And it's like, I expect that to be the case. But you don't have to say it. It just sets it up for these other movies, you can do stuff without a huge big budget, right? And they can be really good, but I just don't know if DC can pull it off. With Wonder Woman, I really enjoyed the beginning of the movie, but then it just kind of I don't know if DC really has what it takes to really do this in the film industry, let alone what's going on with the comics now and the YA novels, graphic novels. That's a whole nother can of worms. DC, I don't know. Now, I know we're sort of given the implication that the DC DCEU plans are kind of ambitious, but take a look at what Marvel's doing. So the first half of 2021, we've got WandaVision starting on Disney Plus in January. After that, they've got to wind up The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In May, we've got Loki. And then, after Loki, we've got the Black Widow movie. So they are pumping out a lot. These aren't movies like DC said they're doing 6 movies, and these are series, but this is a lot of content. This is a lot they're banking on, because, in Marvel's case, yeah, they're doing the whole multiverse things, but these things are all connected. These are all leading up to this big, multiverse storyline. Um, we've got also in 2021, we've got Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye. Hawkeye's going to be a series, I believe. And the Eternals movie, which I believe was supposed to come out earlier this year, but it's coming out late next year. And so, yeah, they've got a lot of stuff coming in 2021, not to mention everything they've got set up for 2022. Again, we've got movie releases, but also they're, again, heavily banking on Disney Plus in these series. But like I said, in Marvel's case, these are all interconnected. Now, Disney has, more than just Marvel going on now. They've got Star Wars, so The Mandalorian, and I'm honestly not following all the Star Wars stuff they're doing, but they're really pumping out the content for that as well. And maybe that will, help diversify the platform a little bit, so you're not just being hit over the head with Marvel. And I know HBO Max isn't all DCEU, HBO Max, HBO has a lot of other stuff going for it. And yeah, but Disney, Disney is Marvel. Disney is Star Wars right now. So, they're going to be heavily pushing that. So there's going to be a lot of fresh content coming at you. And yeah, like this article says, Disney is going to be testing franchise fatigue because, yeah, there's a lot of content. And I mean, a lot of it looks good if you ask me. I'm specifically talking Marvel. I guess you could call me a Marvel fangirl or whatever. But yeah, so a lot of the Marvel stuff is coming at you. All this new content, and you want to watch it all, but it's gonna be a lot. So 2020, we didn't get anything from Marvel, right? Yeah, we didn't get anything from Marvel. So yeah, after Endgame, it was nice to have a break, I guess you could say. But yeah, starting in 2021, January 15th with WandaVision, strap in. We're going for a ride, and I'm here for it. I just hope it's not too much, and I hope, yeah, that they're able to provide an entertaining experience, and they're not spreading things out too thin, and it doesn't get all convoluted and everything. I think Marvel can do it better than DC can, especially DC is saying that they're gonna have all these not connected stories. I like the connected nature of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's one of the biggest selling points, and that's one of the biggest selling points of the comics. And with regards to the comics, I'm actually kind of enjoying what they're doing with it. Starting in the end of 2019 with the Dawn of X, and then they had the X of Swords, Ten of Swords, I guess technically, event this year, and now I guess they're calling it the last phase of this comic book. What do you call it? I guess you're calling it phases now because that's just the buzzword. But that was the Dawn of X, and now we're in the Reign of X. So they're doing some other things, and I'm looking forward to if they're going to do another event like the Ten of Swords or something like that. But yeah, so they got the movies going on, but they also doing a lot of interesting thing with the comics. So yeah, I know we're keep on contrasting Marvel and DC. That just makes sense, I guess. Comics and movies now. But yeah, I feel like Marvel they're doing a lot, but they're doing a lot good. So that's the big difference. Like, I feel like DC, they keep on trying to reset it and, retry to launch these movie franchises and stuff like that. And I mentioned in the Wonder Woman 1984 review that, maybe with that movie, and now they're doing Wonder Woman 3, that's been announced, and with the Snyder cut of the Justice League, if that's good, maybe it'll it'll let the producers know what people want to see. Like, because the original Justice League was not what people wanted to see, and hopefully this Snyder Cut is something, better. They're doing a lot of reshoots and doing a lot of stuff to make it better. So maybe, they can get something out of it. And, with looking at that, improve what they have planned for the future. Because right now, as things are, I don't have confidence in DC. Again, on the film side or on the comic side, because like I said, we're not going to get into the comics. We're not really following it too much, but they're not doing a lot of good stuff there. And I think, a lot of people are being replaced, which is a good thing, but a lot of people are leaving, and they have these long-term investment strategies. They launched a whole bunch of YA novels. I think they were greenlit in 2015, and they're just starting to come out, and they're going to be coming out in 2021. But that's a 5-year plan that's not really going to go anywhere. So yeah, they need to figure something out. But I'm not sure there's 6 movies a year for the DC thing, and then all these spin-offs and TV series. I'm not sure if DC is ready for that. I think they're biting off more than can chew. All right, and that's all we got for you today. There's definitely going to be a lot more DC and Marvel stuff coming down the pike. Look forward to maybe reviews and reactions to the Marvel series, since again that's starting in January, and we'll definitely be keying into that every week, tuning into that every week. So maybe look forward to that. So what do you think about the DCEU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and what they're doing? The 2 franchises, or I guess you call them the franchises, right? And also the comics. How are the comics doing, in your opinion? I'm just curious, trying to, create a dialogue here. Because, comics and the movies especially, I'm a visual person, I guess, more than anything. I like seeing things moving rather than having to read. Honestly, I'm just being honest. I know comics, there's a lot of graphics there, but I do prefer the movies to reading the comics. But like I said, Marvel is doing a lot of good stuff with the comics now, so they're both keeping me entertained. So that's a long outro, but just let me know what you think, and take care.